All right, guys, it's bright and early in the morning. I've been up for a few hours. Sun's coming up. We're going to head on up the hill. It's like a 3 or 4 hour hike to get to where we're going. So it's a long ways. Yesterday I was pretty much worn out when I got there. I'm going to hike up the road, go up the valley to the mine where Kenny made his last video. We're going to make the M Cave hike. To the best of my ability, I'm going to try to follow his exact footsteps because I have his video on my phone, so we can kind of follow that. So that's our goal for today, and trust me, it's a lofty one. So it's bebopping up this wash right here, and I looked down and I saw a rock that looked weird. It was flat. Looky there. That's a broken side-hafted point of some sort. But you see what it looks like in its natural state right there. So the day is marching on. We have made it up to the mine shaft, which is up on the hill. That's where we're going to start our journey to look for the M Cave. But I wanted to show you something down here in the valley that we talked about yesterday, or I talked about yesterday, and I had no idea what it was. But I'm a day smarter, or I should say night smarter now, and I know what this is. This is actually pretty cool. When we came up yesterday, we saw several of these, not quite as obvious as this one, but pits that were dug that I said might be mine shafts, but it didn't really look right because there wasn't enough dirt to fill in a deep hole. The American Indians who lived in this area, of course, there's not a lot of different foodstuffs out here, but one thing that's out here is the agave plants. And they would take the centers of the agave plants, or the hearts, which you can't like just eat, but if you roast them, it cooks them and it makes it so you can eat them. And from what I understand, they're like a sweet, very, very nutritious source of food. And once they're roasted, they could make others. They could dry it and make like a coarse flour out of it and stuff like that. But what they did is they dug a big pit. They went up in the hillsides, gathered all the agave hearts, put them in the, first they built a big fire in the pit, got the rocks really hot, and they put the agave hearts in there and covered it over with, I guess, using branches and stuff like you would do a New England clam bake, and let them roast. Then they dig them out. This whole little valley would have probably been filled with a little settlement, or at least a campsite where the families, the kids playing. You can see it's obviously burned. This is all burned. See, I actually see charcoal. Now some jackwipe came out here and made a fire and actually disturbed what is, kind of an important archaeological resource. This is a man-made thing that, you really shouldn't go in there and dig it up, even if you're just going to make a fire in the middle of it. I don't know why they did that. Probably didn't know what it was. Just like I didn't know what it was yesterday. That little side-notched blade that I found was actually just below here, maybe 300 yards, so it was probably part of this encampment. Now, I left it down there because it is illegal to remove anything from federal property that is man-made, that is over 50 years old. That means if I looked down and saw a penny from 1971, I couldn't pick it up and take it away. Just like I can't take the old cans away that are up on the hill. That might be, they could be 100 years old, but I suspect they're probably closer to 75. Let's hike up there and start the search for the M Cave. We're going to look at some video. We're going to try to follow the tracks that Kenny took when he went on his hike to see if we can get into his head and maybe find the M Cave, who knows. Okay, so we finally made it up to the mine shaft, and just so you know, it took me 2.5 hours from the vehicle where you have to park down there to get to here, and I actually took several breaks of 5 to 10 minutes each just to catch my breath. Now, I'm much stronger today than I was yesterday. I can feel it already. It's amazing how quickly that happens. Anyway, this is the mine shaft where Kenny started his video for the M Cave. And what we're going to do is, I have his video downloaded, and we're going to follow it step by step. Use it as a guide to look for the M Cave, which should be over those hills right there. But first, I'm going to try to look down in there because it's just eating me alive, not knowing whether or not anyone actually looked down in there when the rescue people were up here. Because I understand there was, quite a few people up here over several days looking for them, and of course they didn't find a trace. So let's go ahead and take a peek if it's not too scary, and then we'll whip out the camera, look at the first clue, and start hiking. Oh, by the way, I do have a bunch of gear with me today, but it's well, here's some of it. Got a lot of camera gear, water, batteries, extra cameras, all that stuff. Let's take a look down inside real quick. Now, I am out here by myself. Like Kenny, I most enjoy being by myself. I kind of like my own company. But my wife does know exactly where I am, and I check in every evening, and I have my phone with me, and it's on, so she can actually see where I am 24/7. I'm not sure if that's good, but let's just take a quick peek down there. I just brought my baby flashlight for weight considerations today. But let's just see. I don't know if I really trust this too much, but oh yeah, that's fine. There's a cross beam right here, so let's walk on that, and we're just going to take a very solid. We'll just take a quick peek, because I have to know. I have to know what's down there. Of course, flashlight, I don't know if it'll reach even. All right, there we go. Whoa, wow, that's cool. All right, so hopefully you can see down in there. There's a whole bunch of ladders going down. 1, 2, 3, 4 ladders. 55-gallon drum. I can see a bottle down there. A bunch of cans. You know, like well, not cans, but buckets over there. I'm going to kind of scoot around to the side. I actually have a rope ladder with me, but that's not something I would do without having another person here. So we're not going to go down in here. It's a lot more dirt taken out than I thought there would be. I'm assuming someone went down there and checked it out. Really cool though, man. That's, like I said, well, that bottle down there looks like it's pretty modern, but yeah, so there's something going on there with the mining. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they're after gold or uranium or silver or who knows. But I do want to get away from there as quickly as possible. All right, let me get my stuff together and we'll start the hike. What do you say? This is where Kenny is looking out over the horizon, showing where he's going to hike and where he's going to end up. So this is our first step. And basically what he did is he said, we're going to go over this notch right here and then circle back around the far side of these hills all the way down to that flat land down there, back to our vehicle, which is down there, which you actually can't see from here, around the corner just a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and head up to the gap, which I think is called Wild Horse Gap. And we'll check the video again, see if he gives any more clues as to which direction he goes, but I'm pretty sure he said he just went around that way, like he didn't keep going before he went down. He just kind of just followed the next valley down. So let's go see what we can find. Boom, here, boom, boom. Bomb went off. Yeah, I feel kind of silly. I brought 2 liters of water with me today because, man, there's a lot of snow out here still. I don't think we'd get too thirsty today. Right now, we're basically in the pass where like I said, Dead Horse Pass or Wild Pony Pass or something, and Kenny headed down into that valley. Now he didn't make any video right here. He made some coming up the other side where he collected nuts, which are out of season now, unfortunately, but he headed down to this valley, which, boy, I wish you would have showed a picture of this because it's gorgeous. I think he went down there and kind of cut to the left. We'll go down there and see if we can match up his next shot. But you see way out into the desert there in the mountain, just gorgeous place. I see some really cool caves out there. I put my binoculars on them, which is like 12 power, and they're actually quite impressive. I'd love to get up into those, but I don't think we'll make it. He actually said that the caves, the M Cave that he found is down that way. So we'll keep going there. Man, it's a long ways up. I can't imagine hiking up there in this shape up. Oh, look at the moon coming up. See just a sliver of the moon. In the shape I'm in. Give me another 4 or 5 days that I can do it, but right now I'm halfway lucky to roll out of bed. All right, let me go find my pack and we'll go down the hill. Well, as you can see, this is actually a much more interesting hike than coming up the canyon that we did, which was mostly like walking uphill on a sandy beach with blinders on. This is actually really cool. I mean, it's much more steep, things to look at. It's a cool hike. Now, what I don't understand about the M Cave video is why he bothered to come back up that way, because the canyon in front of us is called Picture Canyon, and the M Cave, according to Kenny, we'll look at that part of the video, he said it was in like the lower part of the canyon where it gets really narrow and steep. So everything we've walked so far, we didn't have to walk. I mean, we could have started at the bottom, which is probably a pretty, wicked hike, but people do it, and come up to the M Cave area and saved about 3 hours of hiking. So that's curious. I'm not sure why he came the way he did. So that's the gap we came through, and I'm working my way down. And there's an interesting cairn or pile of stones on that big rock up there. And usually that's like a trail marker or some type of marker someone, well, it's absolutely a marker someone made. Could be a trail marker, I don't know. Normally I'd go investigate that, but we got a long hike in front of us and I really want to try to find the M Cave. It just might be a trail marker, I don't know, but we're going to put that on the back burner and continue down. I think Kenny's next video shot was probably down in the gorge there, so we're getting there. This is a beautiful part of the hike. This might be why Kenny decided to make a loop out of it instead of just coming up and going back down on the other side here. Do have to watch our step because that snow is, well, it's slippery. Boy, I tell you, you're probably tired of me yapping and just probably want me to get on with it, but I have to share this with you. It's just a beautiful, gorgeous, isolated spot. Giant canyon up there. This is nice right here. Let's continue on down. I think that is the gap that he referenced in his next clip. We've headed down the valley a ways. I was actually talking really loud a minute ago. It kind of freaked me out. We're at the next identifiable stop on Kenny's video, okay? So we know we're on the right track, and I'm just going to show you a quick clip from that video and show you what I'm seeing, and then we'll keep following his directions as best we can. So let's take a look. Now, I know this is going to be really hard to see because of the glare, and I urge you to go to his actual video if you want to see this, but let me turn this on. And I want you to pay particular attention to, not that leaf, but there's a square cutout right here, and the line that goes up looks kind of like a pyramid above it, and that's how we're going to know exactly where we're at. So basically he's describing where we're at right now, and I'm going to show you that in my video. And he's just kind of panning around, but I'm confident we're exactly where, well, really close to where he was standing when he took his video. Now, some of the rocks might look a little out of place or different, but that could be because of the shadows. But what I'm going to show you right now is a dead giveaway. Sorry about that glare, but if you look here, you can see that like there's a little square cutout thing, round thing to the side. It looks like a pyramid above it. You'll clearly see that in Kenny's video. You can also see the tree up on top. This rock looks a little different, but I think that might be because, actually it looks about the same in my video. In real life, it looks a little bit different. So we're standing right about where he was standing 7 years ago or 8 years ago. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll continue down the canyon. I don't think he really talks too much about what he's seeing until he gets down there a good ways. You see a little cave there. I mean, it's a beautiful area. He's no doubt about that. I think he's down in there good ways before he really talks again. And we'll get the camera out once we get down there and try to get another fix on his exact trail to the M Cave. Now, one thing that did concern me a little bit, or does concern me as I'm watching the video, is he says he has done this hike twice before the M Cave hike. And he says the M Cave is, on the level. Well, at one point he says it's level, and he kind of points to the ground where he's walking. But another part of the video says is up high. So we've got two conflicting basic descriptions of the cave entrance, and he's been down here twice before his M Cave hike. So take that, as you will. But let's go ahead and head down the valley, and I'll quit yapping. Wish I had been here when these were edible. Oh, look, he's getting away. Boom. Somewhere down here, I think it's going to be over in that area. There is another one of those agave roasting pits, and there's also some pictographs or petroglyphs. I guess it's pictograph paintings, cave paintings down here, supposedly. Now, they didn't say where they were, and we probably won't find them. But we're going to look for those, and I want to see that roasting pit as well. That's where we came from, way up in there. Beautiful mountains. And that's where we're headed, down in that gap. But look over there. You see those rocks, those little white rocks? I think that's the agave roasting pit. And I want to go over and look at that real quick, and I'm going to bring you along because that thing's huge. These are those little plants that grow in certain type of mineralized soil. Usually good places to look for gold with a metal detector. This was a pit at one time. Seen some white rock over there, way over there was probably a pit. This was definitely a pit right here. Pretty neat, huh? And I can tell you, if I look at the size of this thing, this is multi-generational. They could have used this thing, I mean, for 1,000 years steady. Who knows? You know, maybe every fall or whenever the agaves, that's a ghost. Whenever the agave was harvested. Just want to give you a quick shot of the area we're getting ready to leave, which I just find fascinating. That's where the agave pit is up there, but just a beautiful valley. I could live up here. Well, maybe not in summertime, but I could at least camp up here for one night. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to head down into this chasm, and supposedly that's where the M Cave is. And once I get to something I recognize from Kenny's video, we'll get the camera back out and start taking a look at it. Now, if I see anything else neat, I'll get the camera out and I'll share it with you. Please keep in mind, I am not an expert on anything. Wildlife, plants, you know, I know a little bit, but I've forgotten most of it. Yeah, almost fell. Wowza.
My lady, my big round baby, and I'll rock you until I go to sleep. She'll shake the coins from your pocket, take your gold chain and your locket. Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity.